with a conference that was going on locally here about human trafficking, a local plague. And well, in your mind, when we hear human trafficking, people sometimes almost turn their ears off. It's like, well, it doesn't happen here in Lake County, and that is not true at all, is it?
That is not true at all. It's happening right here in Lake County, and Pastor Melody and the Family Christian Center hosted a conference about human trafficking and prevention, and had guests there who talked about their experiences, and human trafficking is going on right here. Just last year, the federal authorities here and the U.S. attorneys here in Hammond sent two individuals to lifetime in prison for human trafficking, where they had trafficked over 40 young women into prostitution and drugs. The industry is about a $31 billion industry. And the federal government under President Bill Clinton, passed an act called the Human Trafficking Victims Prevention Act of 2000, and then it was only for a period of time. It was reauthorized again by President Bush, and now it's sunset on September 30th, 2011, and it's House Bill now 2830. It's amazing that politics even gets involved in that, and part of the politics is that, quite frankly, the Republican Party wants the foreign aid portion of that taken out and only left here. And the bill authorizes the State Department to do a number of things, and the federal government to do a number of things to combat human trafficking right here in the United States and throughout our country. And the foreign aid helps other countries to prevent human trafficking. And so right now it's kind of in committee, and we're watching it and we're contacting our congressmen and congresswomen to pass the legislation to move
in human trafficking. So, I mean, we're just going to, it's part of what Roy's involved in, and that's what we're talking about. Now, I guess some people are hearing the word human trafficking, and I know that you've been dealing a lot with it, and we get exposed to it a little bit here at the radio station, what exactly it means, but there's got to be somebody at home that doesn't even know what you're talking about.
How true, how true. Here in the United States, over 200,000 women and children are sold into human trafficking for drugs, for sex crimes, for prostitution. You see these ads and they say beauty escort and all these other things. Many of these people are trapped as sex slaves, and they're being used to make money off of them. And so it's everybody's business, whether you're in law enforcement or whatever profession you're in. If you feel for people and you feel for all God's children, that we can help them get out of what they're in, and to arrest people and to contact the police to, if many times you think, well, prostitution is going on somewhere else. Many of the women are victims of prostitution when they say it's a victimless crime. Absolutely not. And these people, many times, the women and children who are involved and who are confined and required to participate in all of this, would love to get out of it. And if we can help people get out of being slaves and arrest those who are trafficking in human and sex crimes, it's everybody's business to report it to the police.
Let's use a typical situation. Let's use an East Asian company or country, and somebody gives the gals the promise of just a beautiful life in America, and say they bring 4 women over here, girls usually,
right?
And they bring them over, and they're putting them up in a 1-bedroom apartment, and then they're setting up a situation where they advertise for people to call them and get sexual favors from the girls. The girls are not able to move freely around in the country. They may even be illegal at that point. Just elaborate. I mean, that's kind of one of the typical images that somebody would think of when they think of human trafficking.
Right. Just last year, when the federal prosecutors prosecuted this case, and it was a drug and sex ring, and these guys were sentenced to lifetime in prison, and some up to 27, 30 years in prison. The women talked about how they were confined, how they were beaten, and how they were drugged and required to perform. And so now these women are free as a result of what the federal authorities have done. And they're lured into believing that they're going to have many times a good time or whatever, and they're kidnapped, and then they're drugged up, and they are confined, and they are held as slaves. And it's going on right here in Northwest Indiana, Chicago area. Sheriff Darch has had a major bust there in Chicago. And so for someone to say, well, you shouldn't be doing that because you're a lawyer, well, I talk about schizophrenic. I guess it's on the other end. I think it's everybody's business to be involved in helping to make people realize their hopes and dreams, and to free people from being slaves and to being mutilated and abused and drugged up. And Pastor Melody and the Family Christian Center are certainly doing that, and they're helping bring awareness to the area, and I'm fortunate to have been a part of that as well.